Good afternoon, everybody. Going to go over our Forex trades for today, Friday, December 16th. We had 4 full scalps. Finally got some scalps. 4 full scalps, which pulled out a total of 11.9 pips on those 4. One was in pound yen. We had 2 trades in the Aussie dollar, and then 1 trade in Euro Canadian dollar. We'll go over them in a second. First, just want to talk about the economic news. According to the Treasury Department, according to the Treasury Department, in the past year ending this October, central banks sold a record $403 billion in treasuries. That's a record, people. Now, that is more proof that the Fed hasn't really ended QE. Why do I say that? Because if the Fed truly ended QE and they weren't taking interest payments and buying treasuries, if they weren't taking bonds that matured and taking that principal and buying bonds, and we already know that they're buying about 50% of every new treasury, 10-year treasury issued this year, if they weren't doing that, although they tell us QE ended, right? So QE has, in their mind, has officially ended. If they weren't doing that with that much selling pressure by central banks, there wouldn't be enough investors to accumulate that much money, that much bonds or treasuries. Therefore, interest rates would have been rising all year. But what did we see during 2016, up before the election? Interest rates were going down. So more proof that the Fed has not really ended QE. What else? Housing starts this morning. Housing starts and housing permits both missed estimates and both were terrible, crashed in November. And this is despite just a few days ago, the National Association of Home Builders blew away the number, telling us how great that number was. And we said then, it can't be, with interest rates rising and mortgage applications collapsing, it can't be that number's got to be wrong. And this is more proof, because housing starts and housing permits both missed and both crashed. 2 of the banks, or I should say Fed banks, Atlanta Fed, they actually raised fourth quarter GDP from 2.4 to 2.6. They didn't give an estimate for first quarter. New York Fed cut fourth quarter GDP from 2.7 to 1.8, and they see first quarter GDP of 2017 of just 1.7. So 2 Fed banks completely conflicted and obviously confused with what the Fed, Janet Yellen and the rest of the Fed members did by raising rates on Wednesday. And that was done unanimously. That was a 10-0 vote. So pretty interesting. So let's go over the trades. Like I said, these were full scalps. We were long pound yen from 146.938. Completely wrong. Algorithm completely misread it. We got stopped out with a loss of 15.8 pips. It never went in our favor, just completely against us. Euro Aussie, we had 2 trades. The second trade we really should have held on, but we'll explain our thinking. The first trade was a short at 1.42298. Came in our favor off the bat. Came down a little bit. It came all the way down to about 1.4220 and then bounced. We covered 1.42259, picking up 3.9 pips. Remember, these are full scalps, so we're not going to risk more than 15, right around 15 pips. We're looking to make, whatever we can grab based off of momentum. And like I said, this is why we messed up on the second trade. We were long from 1.42350, and we just didn't gauge that price action properly. Got out way too early, 1.42396 for 4.6 pips. We were thinking that, you could see this price action in here over the last couple hours. It's really struggling. You knew the 1.4250 level was an area of concern. So that's what our thinking was. We were up about 5 or 6 pips. I had a slight little pullback for a moment, grabbed the 4.6. But boy, we were dead wrong. It took that 1.4250 level and blasted right through it, and you can see what it's done. It's run all the way up to 1.4336, almost 100 pips above where we thought it was an area of concern. And it was an area of concern. But once those sellers were alleviated, especially when you see this spike here and a failure, that was even more signs at that 1.4250 level. But maybe that was the exhaustion of the seller, and then the buyer's just overwhelmed. Euro Canadian dollar. This one was This one was really good for us. 1.39391 went in our favor right off the bat and just started coming in. When we saw it blast through 1.3925, again, you had this spike down and rip back up. Thought it was just going to keep running, and then it took out 20, and it did run all the way down almost to the figure of 1.39. We ended up covering 1.39199 for 19.2 pips. So overall, 11.9 on full scalp. So we'll take it and we'll move on. We do have one position that we initiated as well, which is more of a swing trade. So that's it. We're going to wrap it up. If you're still trading now, good luck. If any signals come out, they'll be coming your way, and have a great weekend.